My 12-year-old son rushed into a burning barn to save a baby. And early that morning, a long red limousine pulled up to our house with a note. Don't ignore this. I'm the mother of Ethan, who's 12, and Lily, who's 7. Last weekend, there was a small neighborhood barbecue on our street. I was chatting with a neighbor about the school's upcoming fundraiser. Lily was playing nearby, and Ethan was standing at the end of the cul-de-sac, listening to music on his headphones and pretending not to care. Until everything turned upside down in 1 second. The shed behind our neighbor's house suddenly burst into flames. Flames raced across the boards, and smoke billowed from the roof. At first, everyone thought it was just another flare-up from the grill, until a deafening, piercing cry from a baby was heard. Before I could even catch my breath, Ethan was on the move. The phone fell from his hand, he darted across the lawn, dived into the smoke, and disappeared inside the blazing barn. My heart sank. Everything around me seemed to freeze, the voices stretched out, the world became unreal. A few seconds passed, but for me it felt like an eternity. And then he appeared again. He ran out of the smoke, staggering, coughing, covered in soot, as if from another reality. In his arms he held a tiny child, crying but alive. People rushed to him, some sobbing, others shouting into the phone, calling 911. I stood there, feeling my hands tremble, filled with terror and incredible pride for my boy. The next morning, Ethan pretended nothing special had happened, as if he hadn't risked his own life, as if it was just another day. And then I opened the front door. There was an envelope on the rug. My address was written large and unevenly. I picked it up, feeling a slight chill in my chest. Inside was just one piece of paper with a short inscription. Bring your son to the red limo outside Lincoln High School tomorrow at 5 a.m. Do not ignore this. At first, I thought it was a prank, a stupid joke played by the neighborhood teenagers. But slowly but surely, curiosity overtook fear. The next morning, before dawn, we drove to school. A long red limousine, its headlights dimly lit, was parked on the side of the road. The driver's door opened slightly, and a man in a black suit leaned toward us. Mrs. Parker, Ethan. I just nodded, though my insides sank. Ethan and I got into the car. The door closed softly, cutting us off from the darkness of the street. A man sat at the very back of the car. He was large, broad-shouldered, about 60 years old, with heavy, scarred hands. His eyes were calm, strangely confident, as if he'd been waiting for us for a long time. "Hello, Ethan," he said in a soft but deep voice. "Don't be afraid, you don't know who I am, and you have no idea what I have in store for you." Ethan's voice wavered. "Who are you?" The man straightened slowly, as if it was important to him that Ethan could see his every move. For a moment, the cabin was silent, only the hum of the engine filling the space. "My name is Marcus Hale," he said finally. "I was in the fire department a long time ago. We responded to dozens of calls a night. We saved people, pulled children from apartments, put out fires in warehouses, barns, cars. I saw a lot of bravery and a lot of loss." He paused, as if listening to something inside himself, then continued. "One of those days I didn't make it. I couldn't get into the house in time. I couldn't save the little girl. Since then, these scars," he raised his palm, riddled with old burns, "remind me of it every minute." Ethan shrugged awkwardly, as if he wanted to hide, but Marcus's gaze was too direct, too serious. "Yesterday, you did something most adults couldn't," he said. "You heard a scream and you didn't hesitate for a second. You walked into the fire. You carried a child. You risked yourself without even thinking about it." I felt my throat tighten again. Ethan glanced at me briefly, as if checking to see if I was about to burst into tears. "Why did you call us?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. Marcus smiled slightly, just a little. "To fulfill my duty," he said. "When I left the service, I decided that if I ever saw true bravery in someone so young, I would do everything I could to support that person, so that they would never forget that bravery is not an accident or luck. It is a choice." He leaned forward and opened a small black briefcase on the seat next to him. Inside lay an object that momentarily illuminated the interior with a soft glow of metallic gold. Ethan froze. I did too. It was a medallion. Heavy, massive, with the fire service symbol engraved on it and the date stamped on it. The man said, "An opportunity to develop his abilities and help people, but it will be Ethan's choice. No one is forcing him." I felt my heart skip a beat. What kind of offer was this? What abilities? "But who are you?" Ethan asked again, his voice shaking. The man nodded slightly. "I was a firefighter many years ago. I've seen a lot, been through a lot, and I know when a child has a special heart. Ethan, your courage and determination are rare qualities. I want to help you develop them." Ethan looked at me, his eyes shining with both fear and excitement. "Are you serious?" he said quietly. "Seriously," the man replied. "If you agree, we'll start preparing tomorrow morning. You don't have to agree, but I'm sure it will change your life." I put my arm around Ethan's shoulders. He took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, I'll try." The man nodded, as if expecting this answer. He stood up and said, "Then welcome to this new path, Ethan. You have much to learn." We stepped out of the limo, and the sun was just beginning to rise above the horizon. Ethan held my hand tightly, and I felt a mixture of anxiety and pride. We walked home in silence, but each of us understood that yesterday had changed everything. Ethan's heroic act yesterday was the beginning of something much greater, something we couldn't yet fully comprehend. After that morning, everything in our lives changed. Ethan began training with the man from the limo, a stern but wise mentor who helped him develop courage, determination, and a sense of responsibility. I watched my son change, his confidence grow, and he learned to use his courage not only in emergency situations but in everyday life as well.